Hey guys, Bob with Million Mile Garage. Having a little problem with my 4 gear. I'll show you. You can see that the gears are spinning, but the wheels aren't. And that's because this rivet right here is loose on this drive gear, which sends the power down to the rear axle. So this intermediate gear here is losing contact. And just because this rivet is so loose, it's pivoting out. See, if I push it down a little bit, it'll engage for a little bit. You see it just pops it right back out. So I'm going to take it apart and show you guys how I attempt to try to fix this. I'm going to try to tighten up this rivet right here. So not a huge deal, but on the 4 gears, there's a little screw on the bottom you have to remove before you remove the top half. I'm just going to get that screw out real quick. All right, that's out. And then I can come in here and pop this off. I just need to come in here and loosen this up. Should just pop right out. Yep, there we go. All right, then I'm just going to take this off. Be careful not to drop my brushes. You see this one gear already fell out in my hand. And then we got this little one here. I'll go ahead and take it out so I don't lose it. I'm going to have to take this downstairs to the vise. And there's the drive gear right there. See if I can get in there real good. And this rivet basically is loose. I'm going to have to try to press this rivet a little tighter so that this gear can't walk around. Hey, just showing you how far I work it over. You can see how the rivet is not in contact with the plastic base. See how the head is standing above it? So it wasn't pressed in very tight from the factory. It always fit a little loose. So what I'm going to do is I've taken an old drill bit and put it in soft jaws on a vise, and I'm just going to take this and put the bottom of the rivet on top of that for support, and I'm just going to come in with a small punch and a hammer, and I'm just going to just gently tap that into place to take up the gap so that this gear can't walk around like it is now and lose contact with that intermediate gear. All right, so just bear with me. I'm going to get this in place so I can make sure I hit it square on. It's going to be a little tricky to do because I'm going to have to basically hold this in place like that. And I'm going to come in with the hammer and just gently tap it. And then I'm just going to see what my progress is, that I actually peen that down a little bit. And I'd say very little. So I'm going to repeat the process and then I'll show you the end result. The idea is to get this gear tight enough so that it can't walk around, but you don't want it too tight that it binds. Okay, there's the final result. You can see I peened it over pretty good. And it took up the slack so that it won't move, but it still rotates freely. It doesn't bind. And I tell you, what I ended up doing was taking the larger part here and I put the drill bit down lower because it made it easier for me to control it. And then I could see what I was peening, and then I just took my punch and then just worked it around accordingly and just took the slack out of that. So that should be fixed. So let's take this back upstairs, put it back together, and see how it runs. Okay, just a quick check. The wheels spin freely without any of the other gears engaged, and you can see the upper gear here doesn't wobble anymore. So I say it's just that right amount of tight that it doesn't bind, and the gear's not going to walk around enough to allow it to disengage. So let's put the rest of it back together and see how it does. Hey, just showing y'all real quick before we run it. I noticed that you can see when I rock the wheels back and forth, you can see that gear walking around that rivet a little bit. And that's just the play built into the gears, but you see it's not lifting from the gear teeth like it was before. And I suspect this rivet has a shoulder on it that you can't see when it's installed. So I'm thinking you probably can't overpeen it other than destroying the backside of the rivet, right, or crushing the plastic chassis it's pressed into. So I'm going to say that's probably as good as it's going to get. All right, let's see what we got now. Oh yeah, no wobble. right, let's run it around the track. Four gear is pretty quick around the turns. All right, I'll say it's fixed. Cool.